Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2018 Ford F350 Super Duty. I want to walk through how to install the Roadmaster Front Anti-Sway Bar. This is what our sway bars will look like when it's installed. What are some of the reasons we want to upgrade to a newer sway bar? Well, when you compare this sway bar to the factory sway bar, there's a world of difference. Factory sway bars are normally just made out of steel. A Roadmaster Sway Bar is made out of 4140 chromoly, which is a high standard, high grade steel. Plus, the Roadmaster Anti-Sway Bar is 1.5 inches thick. Your standard sway bar is 1 inch. Another thing, with it being this thick, being 4140, it's really going to help keep your vehicle a lot more level. If you've ever been driving down the highway, and you've had a crosswind, and it feels like your vehicle kind of does this. That's what that's for. So keep your vehicle upright, so it's not leaning so much. It's going to take a lot of that body roll out. Maybe you put a plow on the front, or maybe you have a front hitch or something like that on there, and you found that your vehicle leans sometimes when you turn a corner, or anything like that. This is going to help prevent that or limit how much body roll you have. It's really drastically going to reduce it. Another nice benefit of upgrading to the Roadmaster is the bushings. The standard bushing on a sway bar is rubber. What happens with rubber over time is the rubber deteriorates. It starts to break down. We're going to take a look right here on this side, and this is a 2018. You notice that rubber bushing right there is starting to crack. That means it's getting dry. Eventually, that bushing is either going to have to be replaced, or the sway bar is going to have to be replaced, right? The bushings for the Roadmaster sway bar are polyurethane. They're going to hold up much better against your road conditions, your salts, salt spray, the heat, the high heat, the cold weather. We're not going to have to worry about those breaking down. Just kind of go over how a sway bar works and what it does for you or for the vehicle. Now, I explained it earlier, it helps reduce body roll. What the sway bar does is it flexes like this. The more it flexes like this, the more body roll you're going to get on your vehicle. That's where this one comes in to play. Being thicker, being a better, stronger metal, the less movement you have, the less body roll you have. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out on the road, we're going to test it, and we're going to show you the difference between how this one flexes compared to the factory one. So we've got our new sway bar on. We're going to run through a test course here. We're going to go over some speed bumps that we have set up in our lot to simulate going over a bump or some uneven terrain. And then we're going to take it over to the other side of our lot and do some sharp turns and try and get it to lean. What I'm looking for going through here is how much the truck bounces in the front, because if there's, for instance, the old sway bar that was on here, there's a lot of flex in it. If there's a lot of flex, once you hit a bump, the truck's gonna continue to bounce a little bit. What I'm looking for is, because how thick this bar is, I want it to settle pretty quick. So we hit the bump, it comes down and it settles. We don't get the extra bouncing. When we get over to the other side, what I want to see is, I want to see that my truck stays up level. It doesn't lean. You don't get that body roll. Let's see what it does here. I can already tell a difference. Obviously, we're going to get bounce because we're going over bumps, but the truck is settling when it goes over. It's not, it's not continuous bounce. It feels stiff even. I can tell that sway bar that's up there now, the new one, how much stronger it is. It just feels like it's holding on really well. We're not getting a whole lot of flex out of it. My truck feels stiff, which is what I want. I don't want all this. I want a strong vehicle. As far as the installation goes, The installation is very simple and straightforward. This can be done right in your driveway. You simply have a nut over here on top of your end link, 2 nuts here. That removes your old sway bar, put your new one back in place. 18mm socket for your end link nut, and then a 15mm socket for these two. If it's something you may not have the time or space to do, you can always check out our dealer locator, find someone near you that's able to put them in. If you want to give it a try, I promise you can do it. Follow along with me and I'll walk through how to do it now. To start your installation, it's a good idea to take some channel locks, or vice grips actually. There's a metal ring right here. It's actually a stud that runs up through the end of your sway bar. And there's a nut on this side. We need to take this nut off. When we start to take this off, this whole thing is going to spin. So what we need to do is take those vice grips, we're going to grab a hold of that, hold it tight while we remove the nut. One thing I stress is if you do this, try not to damage this boot or else you got to replace the end link. So what I recommend using is some skinny channel locks like this, or some vice grips like this. We're going to get that pressed on there. We're going to take an 18mm wrench. We're going to start loosening this nut that's on the top. Once you get it, you can take it off by your fingers. I'm going to put a couple threads on there. Put the nut back on for a second. We're going to follow our sway bar down. We're going to take the 2 nuts off on this side and the other side. What I recommend is spraying these bolts down with some penetrating oil because they are out in the elements. We're going to take a 15mm socket and we'll get those loosened up as well. We're going to go ahead and repeat that on the other side before we completely remove our sway bar. We're going to go ahead, take the nut off of our end link, and then if you need a second set of hands, grab it. We're going to take the nuts off of our clamps here on each side, and then we can just lift our sway bar off our end links and pull it down. So now it might be easier because this is much thicker to have a second person. So your sway bar in place over top of your end link. Go ahead and loosely install that nut just to hold it in place there. You're going to have 2 bushings with these clamps. You're going to get some grease in your kit. It's green. And make sure you spread it inside of here so that it doesn't squeak against the metal surface. I'm not going to be putting it on right now for demonstration purposes, and the sway bar is not going to be staying on here, but you need to make sure that you use it. Also recommend you may want to use gloves. That grease has been known to irritate some people's skin. So it splits. We're going to take it, slide it over like this. We're going to take your clamp, slide it on like that. Kit is also going to come with some red Loctite. I recommend putting the Loctite on any nut and bolt that you're putting on. Again, I'm not going to be putting it on because this is just for demonstration purposes. We're just going to reinstall our factory hardware that we removed. Once we get everything in place, we want to make sure our sway bar is centered. Then we can come back and we can tighten everything down. You're going to have 2 clamps that look like this. Take a 3/16 Allen wrench. We're going to take one of the bolts out and loosen the other one enough we can get it around our bar. If you have to take it all the way off, that's fine. Just don't lose it. And then we can come back and tighten them down. We're going to do this on both sides. Once you have your clamps tightened down, go ahead and take the vehicle out for a ride. Come back and check everything to make sure it's tightened down, nothing's loosened up, and you're ready to go. So going to do it for a look at an installation of the Roadmaster Front Anti-Sway Bar on a 2018 Ford F350 Super Duty.